So from roughly 2005 to when you were sitting at your desk to now, 2013, there was no point when you wanted to abandon the project. Like even as tough as it got, financing going away 3 times, there was no time when you said, you know what, maybe this is not for me.
Well, not that I can remember, but that doesn't mean that that didn't happen. You know, I'd been writing my entire life, so in different capacities, whether it was, you know, shorts or short films or you know, novels or whatnot. So Killing Winston Jones, believe it or not, was my first headfirst dive into features. And I don't recall ever wanting to quit, only because I hadn't really even started at that point. I hadn't finished a feature and I wanted to finish a feature. So that probably gave me a little bit more incentive and a little bit more drive to keep pushing forward with it. And having read so many different pieces of material, innovative, I knew that I could potentially write a feature, and I just wanted to see what that process was about. So my writing process is a little bit slower. I spend, you know, anywhere from 3 to 6 months developing characters and character arcs and storylines. I have a big picture of the entire story before I even write a piece of dialogue. I'll be thinking about dialogue for specific characters and I'll write them down here and there, but I don't start writing dialogue in the entire story until I feel like the outline and the arcs and the story is bulletproof. So, you know, it was such an interesting process for Killing Winston Jones, because I had to learn what it was to board. You know, I had to learn what it was to dissect characters and make them have different voices and to have arcs, you know, and I had to learn what it was to make sure that every single scene had conflict, or there was an emotional shift in your characters, whether it was your protagonist or your antagonist. All the pieces that had to come together, I had to learn that along the way. So I think that's probably why this particular project was a little bit longer than my other ones. But you know, like I mentioned before, I mean, I think most of the time, if someone comes to me and says that they wrote a script in 3 weeks and it just flew out of them and it was so amazing and it was enlightening, I just don't believe them, because I don't know that that's possible. I think that it takes time and it takes effort, and it's a slow process sometimes if it needs to be, and you can't force creativity. So, you know, my last script, I came up with the concept of it. I thought about the concept for probably a couple of years, and then finally when I decided to sit down and make it my next project, I probably spent about 3 months developing the characters and the storylines, and then probably another 6 months, 6 to 9 months writing it. So, and we'll see. I've finished writing my next project, Insanity Please, about 1.5 years ago, and we are hopefully going into production early next year. And if we go into production early next year, you know, best case scenario, we'll be in film festivals by the end of the year or in theaters the following year. So that's still that's a 3-4 year process. And I think that that's part of filmmaking. It's part of the business. It's a process. It takes time.